At the core of every religion is the human search. Art, music, literature, the teachings and examples of spiritual leaders all reflect man's quest for answers to the deepest questions about himself and his relationship to the world around him. Yoga, one of the oldest systems that evolved from this quest, contains the essence of all religions, yet is not itself a religion. In Sanskrit, yoga means to yoke, to unite one's separate personality with universal consciousness. In the East, the active search for union is considered the highest possible human aim. Either consciously or unconsciously, all men seek the same goals: happiness, inner peace. Now, aided by Eastern traditions, Westerners are discovering the charts to the unknown territories that must be visited on the journey. A story of 4 seekers comes from the Hindu tradition. Not satisfied by the answers in their search, they set out on a journey to find someone to help them. After years in their quest, they found a sage sitting at the foot of a tree. They knew he would help them. Hardships of their travels had emptied them of pride and left them ripe to receive. They approached the master like empty vessels, ready to be filled. His silent example was his first lesson. He showed them the one who is by just being. The truth, he spoke simply with a gesture, the chin mudra, a symbol of wisdom. The sage then explained the wisdom symbol with words as well.
Now you may want to know what it means. This thumb stands for the absolute cosmic consciousness or God. That's why it can stand apart from all these other fingers and be totally independent. This index finger represents the individual, which makes you and me and others. And because of the association of this individual with these 3 fingers, which represent the ego, the illusion, and the action, the individual, having suffered enough by their association, it turns its attention towards God at one time. Then as it comes looking for God, when it takes 1 step, God takes 10 steps and comes and meets the individual. Once they meet, there is an unending union. There is one indivisible whole. There is no you, me. There is one unity. This is what is called the communion or the truth. Once we realize this, there is unending peace and joy. That is the truth.
Today, a similar search is bringing Westerners to the teachings of yoga. Traditionally, there are 4 separate yogas. Each, like a spoke on a wheel, leads directly to the hub, to oneness with God. Hatha, the way of the body. Raja, the mind. Karma Yoga, the way of service. And Bhakti, the way of the heart. Sri Swami Satchidananda, born in southern India, has been a world teacher of yoga for almost 30 years. Among others, he is helping to bring its teachings to the West. Founder-director of the Integral Yoga Institutes throughout North America, Europe, and India, he is one of the foremost teachers of yoga in the world today.
Some people think that yoga means standing on your head. But before you even want to stand on your head, you should be standing firmly on your feet. Without a healthy body, nothing is possible in this life.
So, for the physical body, there is the path of Hatha Yoga. Through careless habits of diet and lifestyle, our bodies build up toxins and tensions that increase with time. The tensions block the nerve centers and inhibit the proper flow of energy. Hatha Yoga prescribes simple physical postures for releasing those toxins and breathing techniques to regulate the energy flow.
The postures or asanas make the body supple, healthy and relaxed. Mainly the poses work on the spine because the spine is the very staff of our life. Because all the organs, glands and nerve centers get their energy through the spine. The various asanas bend the spine backward, forward, turn it upside down and twist it from side to side just to keep it healthy and flexible.
The Hatha poses are not like calisthenics or other exercises which are quick and vigorous and mainly affect superficial muscles. This yoga builds up energy within the system rather than draining it. After a session of yoga asanas, one feels very light and refreshed.
With the various breathing exercises, we're dealing with something very subtle and profound. When I do the pranayama, I feel my entire system being charged with what's called prana, or vital energy. By breathing in certain conscious ways, the blood gets purified and the extra oxygen gets diffused into the system, and this brings fresh life to every cell. It burns up those impurities that we've already put into our bodies, and it tones the nerves. But maybe the most important benefit that I find in pranayama is that it can calm the mind. We all know that when our minds are restless or when we're upset, that the breath is very quick and uneven. So in reverse, by regulating the breathing, we indirectly regulate our thoughts. This is why it's so effective as a preparation for meditation.
When the body is relaxed and free of tension, and the breathing is calm, this is the beginning of meditation and Raja Yoga. We have become so much a slave to our mind. It controls us. The mind is like a lake, all thoughts like waves on its surface. Each thought is a ripple. As the mind becomes calm, thoughts disappear. Only when the lake is still will it reflect clearly and without distortion. So too, when the mind is quieted through meditation, our own true nature is reflected. The way is open to find unity. One technique is through concentration. If the mind is held on one point, it cannot wander from one thought to another as it usually tends to do. Another method is to watch the thoughts as they arise without attempting to select, judge, or separate certain thoughts from others. One merely witnesses the stream of consciousness. No involvement, no attachment.
Almost all the scriptures agree that the very first manifestation of the unmanifested is sound. Bible puts it as, in the beginning there was the Word was God. Hindu scriptures call it Nada Brahmam, that means the sound absolute. If that is the first manifestation of God, and all other forms and names are nothing but the expression of that manifestation, are the variations of that sound. Like all the waves are nothing but the variation of the same water in a sea. So if that is so, we can come to a conclusion that everything that we see is nothing but vibration.
I've been meditating for a few years now, and well, I'm a pilot. I'm in a business where things happen fast, and I found that focus on one thing at a time is very valuable to bring my mind away from being drawn in every direction and focusing it on one thing at a time. My mind becomes my servant rather than my master. Here in the Western cultures, we tend to worship the mind, and it tends to rule us. One thing also that meditation taught me was reliance on what is within me for peace in my life. It's the world within where the riches are.
Swami Satchidananda has said that yoga is not something to be practiced only when you meditate or when you do yoga postures, but all through your life, day and night. Karma yoga is meditation in action. It is the yoga of selfless service. Giving without expecting anything in return, thinking of the actions themselves as an offering to God or to all humanity. Here, at a yoga retreat, students practice karma yoga, work without attachment to the fruits of the labor. The karma yogi may be performing the same jobs he did before, or even the most menial of tasks, but with a different attitude, simply for the joy of doing them. The aspirant purifies his mind and becomes an instrument for greater good, thus transcending his own individuality. A few minutes' drive from the ashram is this practical example of karma yoga in action, an integral health services clinic run by devotees of Swami Satchidananda. It is staffed by therapists, nutritionists, a nurse practitioner, a chiropractor, and 2 medical doctors.
Karma yoga means serving without desire of reward, serving with complete dedication, so that one works merely for the joy of the work itself, and the work itself becomes worship. Normally, what we do is we work for a reward, for the financial gain, for the lunch break, for the weekend. But with the proper attitude of karma yoga, each movement in the work itself becomes pure joy, and one works merely for that joy of being of service to all. Rather than feeling that you are the actor who's doing the work, you feel yourself as a cell within the universal body. Each of us are connected to one another, and you view your work instead of from a separate, selfish perspective. You view it from the perspective of the whole.
In the path of devotion or bhakti, you just love. Devote yourself completely to your beloved, whether it is some aspect of God, or a great prophet, or your own spiritual teacher. Open yourself completely, become like a child, offer everything.
Well, Bhakti Yoga in my life is just living love and living service. And as far as the life is concerned, everything that one does is motivated by that love and that dedication and that surrender, that service. In a way, it will encompass all the other paths of yoga. The only thing is that it emphasizes the heart. And naturally, when a person gives oneself totally to the Lord, this is how Bhakti-Yoga evolves. Because to say it is one thing, to mean it is one thing, but to really live it every single day is another thing. I think from my own experience, the greatest devotional practice is constantly remembering the Lord's presence, that divine energy within. And that energy, if you really remember it, becomes that living guru within you, that consciousness.
pious worshippers of all faiths have been practicing Bhakti-Yoga since man first stood in awe and reverence, in recognition of the infinite. Devotion has its origin in the fact that man is in some way a sharer in the divine life. He therefore longs to commune with that from which he feels he has come. Many believe that all man's desires are really a desire for God. Bhakti, the yoga of love, concentrates on outgrowing worldly attachments and misdirected love, and directing it all to the essential. By constant love, thought, and service of the divine, in any name or form, or beyond form, the devotee slowly takes on the very attributes of the one he worships, and, as with other yogas, moves beyond his limited individuality to contact that universal consciousness. Intoxicated by this higher awareness, the Bhakta recognizes that all creation is God in manifestation and comes to serve everyone he sees as an aspect of the divine.
Just chop your head off. Use the heart. You know, that's love. Because love can never come from the head. No. That's a horrible stuff. If you want love, go to the heart. Everybody wants to be the head. And then they bump against each other. Head is a hard nut, no? But the soft part is hard. It melts. It always palpitates. It jumps with joy. That's why in the Hindu mythology, the Lord Nataraja is dancing in the Chitahasa, the heart. The heart chakra, he dances like heart. Because there is love. If you love, you are always in joy. You just dance. Love is the only thing. You see all over, you feel all over. And it is just one-way traffic. You love for the joy of loving.
Satchidananda Guru Satchidananda Satchidananda Guru Om Satchidananda Guru Satchidananda Satchidananda Guru.
The search for truth, happiness, leads directly back to each and every one of us. The happiness we seek is in us always. This is our true nature. Yoga practices provide the tools for reuniting us with who we already are. The result is a human being more complete and more balanced. A person awake.
Om Shanti, Shanti.